Good morning on this frosty Saturday, and welcome to Nora's Dog Training Company. We're here today with Sammy and Brandy, and what we're going to be demonstrating for you today on video is Sammy's ability to understand and respond to her formal on-leash obedience commands. The little tiny corrections and motivation that we give the puppies when we're working with them, and the training equipment that we're using. Brandy is using a regular 6-foot web training leash, and she keeps the bulk of that leash folded neatly in her right hand. That leaves her left hand free to give any adjustment that she needs to, and the only correction that we give is a little tug and release on the training collar, and that is the second piece of equipment that we're using. You're going to be introduced to that training equipment and taught how to use it properly during your lesson today with Brandy. Now, Sammy is sitting very nicely at Brandy's left, which is where all of our obedience training is done. And the first exercise that they're going to demonstrate for us is heeling. The command is Sammy heel. And at this point, Sammy has a job to do. And that is to remain even with your left leg when walking, not dragging you down the street, not flailing around on the end of the leash. And each time that you stop your feet, she's been taught to sit and wait for her next command. So if you stop to cross traffic or stop to talk to a neighbor, she should be sitting nicely at your left and waiting for her next command. And this makes walking her a pleasure instead of a drag. And she's only going to get bigger. And one of the most common complaints that we hear at school is, I can't walk my dog, or my kids can't walk the dog because we're afraid that the dog is going to pull them down. So the heel exercise is very important to practice. Making sure she's right with you when she's walking and that she's not dragging you. And that when you stop, she sits. Now the next command that we're going to demonstrate for you is the sit-stay. Leave it to a lab to want to lay down outside when it's 27. Brandy, it's a hand and a voice command, and because it is a stationary exercise, it is a one-word command. This command can be practiced right in your home. You're going to lengthen out your time and your distance. When Brandy returns back to her, she walks all the way around her. She stops at her shoulders, and at this point, Sammy expects to get another command, and they take off heeling again. Sammy's a challenging little girl, and she has a mind of her own, so you're going to have to be firm, and you're going to have to practice these commands. Labs were bred to do a job, so we're replacing her need to hunt or to flush birds or to retrieve with obedience training. This time Brandy calls her out of that sit-stay, and this is the recall. And if you notice, she came right in and sat rather than jumping all over you. And she does have a tendency to jump all over you when she gets excited and submissively urinate, so we want to try to avoid that. Brandy leaves her again in another sit-stay. When she calls her, she does use her name. Brandy makes her come all the way in and sit. And then they go back to heel position. Now the next commands that we're going to be demonstrating for you are a series of down commands. The first one is the down from a heel position. So before you attempt to put your dog into a down, have her seated, you're going to take your left open palm, push it straight down toward the ground, and give the one-word command to down and stay. Your long down stay, again, is a great exercise to practice in your house. You're going to start out at about 30 seconds to 1 minute, and you're going to slowly work up to 5. When Brandy returns back to her, she walks all the way around her just as she did on the sit-stay. She stops at heel position and she gives her another command. And she's talking to her as they're working. Whether you can hear her or not, I can. And she's telling her, good girl, good job. And this is a great self-control exercise. It helps teach focus, self-control, all the things that Sammi doesn't have or didn't have when she got here anyway. This time Brandy will call her out of that down. Good, she came right in and sat. And back to heel. And if you practice with your video, it's usually 6 or 7 minutes, the video. If you run through it twice, you're going to start to really see a noticeable difference in her. And that was the best down yet. And that is your down from a heel position. Brandy calls her in. If she doesn't sit, she'll tell her no sit to remind her. And the very last command that we're going to demonstrate for you is your down from a distance. This is a little bit harder exercise because you're not right next to the dog. So what you're going to do is you're going to have her sit. She's such a goof. Leave her in a stay. You turn to face her. This is the only time that you use your right hand to give the command. And you drop her into a down from a distance and tell her to stay, and then Brandy backs all the way up. Now again, you're going to be lengthening out distance, how far away you can go, and she'll still go down. All of those things that Brandy will go over with you today. We want to thank you for choosing Nora's Dog Training Company. Sammi's come a very long way. We want to wish you and yours a happy holidays and a Merry Christmas, and we will see you very soon.